Fine. Lost.
Good morning, everyone. We're having another morphology class, and we will be talking. We're still in Unit 3. Can you imagine that? Unit 3 is super long. But we're talking about the king or the queen of lexical items, of lexical categories, which is verbs. We started with verbs last class. I uploaded a video on verbs in Spanish and verbs in English. And today we're going to cover, we're gonna do an exercise all together, okay? An exercise from the manual all together. I told you to do it in the video, but I want to do it with you, all together with you. There it is. This is the manual and is page, that's a good question. Which page is it? I cannot see because of the
56.
53,
56.
53 or 54. 54 in my manual, 54. It says practice exercise, and it comes right after English verbs. Can you see it? Do you have your manual with you? Okay, you can just see the screen also. Okay, it says many changes in the phonological system have occurred in English since the year 449. And it says CE. Can anyone tell me what CE stands for? Why does it say CE? It should say, I will change it. AD. Why CE? Who can tell me? CE. Nobody? CE means of the common era. Common era. This is what people who are not Christians are trying to eliminate Christianism. So they decided to change AD for CE. AD stands for a Latin word. It means Anno Domini, which means the year of the Lord. Okay. That's what it means. Okay. And we say after Christ, we say in Spanish. Okay, never mind. Below are some old English words. You know that the English language is, the history of the English language is split into 3 different eras. Old English, I don't know if you studied already Beowulf and the Canterbury Tales. And then you have Middle English, and then you have Modern English. 3 eras. When did Modern English start? When Shakespeare was born, 1663. Oh, so that's modern already. Can you imagine how old English is?
Can you repeat the year, teacher?
Sorry? The year. Yeah. I think I made it up, but I think it was, let me look it up and give you a correct number. When was Shakespeare born? Was Shakespeare 1564. 1564.
Okay, thanks, teacher.
Okay. So he is part of the modern English. Can you imagine? Wow. Okay, and it says below are some old English words given in their spelling and phonetic forms, and the same words as we pronounce them today. They are atypical. They are typical of regular sound changes that took place in English. What sound changes have occurred in each case? Example, in Old English, so OE stands for Old English. In Old English, the word was chlut, like this. In modern English, the word is loud. So before chlut, now loud. What changes have occurred in their morphology? Well, the sound was lost. And then the long vowel U, chlut, became ow, as in loud. So there was a vowel substitution. Okay. Here we have some other words, and let's do this all together. Before, the word was crab, and it was pronounced crabba, like this. Nowadays, we say crab, like this. So, can you tell me what changes have occurred? Are we talking about vowel substitution, shortening, extension, addition? What? Oh, okay. Before that, did you already watch the video that I posted on irregularities?
The
The video that says irregular forms of verbs: shortening, addition, substitution, insertion of diphthong. Okay, you need to watch that in order to, so that the exercise makes sense because they are connected. But anyways, just look at it. Now we say crab, before they say crabba. What changes have happened? Tell me the changes. Is the word shorter or longer?
The word short.
Now it's shorter. So shortening has happened. Very good.
Shorten.
Excellent. And what has been, because it's shorter, what has been deleted?
The final A.
Excellent. Very good. So A has been deleted. Very good. Is that the only change that happened?
No, the pronunciation too. The
Excellent. What? Tell me.
the A that is next to the R is pronounced differently.
Has been substituted by which sound? Does anyone know which
B.
sound? No, it's an A. The A has been substituted by which vowel sound? Before they said crava, and now they say crab.
So it's the I, like the number E, the letter E, they have the I.
How do you pronounce that sound? No, it's more open. Open your mouth. Open your mouth bigger.
No.
That one. Yes, very good. Super. So final A has been deleted. Final. I need to write the word final. Final A has been deleted, and another change is that the A has been substituted by A. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, very good. Let's go to B now. Before, people said fisk. Now we say fish. Tell me the changes.
Letter C was replaced by the sound of
Excellent. So is there shortening?
fish, fish, fish. Yes, it's shortening.
It is not.
No, it's not
No,
shorter. It's exactly the same amount of sounds.
Substitution.
Is there a substitution?
Yeah.
fish.
Yes.
Yes. A vowel substitution?
No. A consonant
No,
substitution.
a consonant.
Consonant substitution. K for sh. Like this. K for sh. Excellent. Very good. Before, in Old English, people pronounce fool. Nowadays, we say foul. What are the changes? Fool, foul.
It is still longer, but the vowel, the pronunciation has changed.
Excellent. So there is a vowel change, substitution. What should I write?
Yeah,
What? Change or substitution?
Mm,
vowel change.
Fool, foul, substitution. What am I substituting? Fool, foul. Ooh, ow.
The longer you,
Very good. For what?
a,
The diphthong.
ow.
For ow, for the diphthong, ow. Yeah, not for a, for the diphthong, ow. Don't think in terms of letters. Very good. Before, people would say God. Now we say goat. What is it?
Vowel substitution.
Yes, excellent. So, what for what?
The for the diphthong.
Excellent. Super. Yes, very good. Before, people would say lavan, lavan. That's the pronunciation. It's not the spelling, it's the pronunciation. Now we say leave.
Vowels.
Yes. What should I write? Tell me. Vowel.
Vowel substitution.
Vowel substitution and shortening.
Vowel substitution. Very good. Substitution. Ah. Let me just copy this.
Laban. Laban.
Lavan. Okay. A for E. Right? There. Vowel substitution. A for E. So leave one. Now. Leavan. No, something is wrong. Leavan. It's not like that. We don't
Or
pronounce
shortening.
Leavan. Shortening. Very good. Oops, sorry, my bad mistake. Plus shortening. Shortening. And which part were shortened? Which parts were deleted?
The
end.
Just the end? Only the end?
The vowel and
The vowel. And the end. So, and was deleted. Correct?
yes.
So, and was deleted, and we just say leave, not leave and. So, there were two processes there. Okay. Look at the weird letter from Old English. Very weird letter. That was pronounced before. So, in Old English, people would say tes, like this. And now we say teeth. So, what's the problem? What's the changes?
Vowel substitution.
Yes. You are right. What for what?
The E for the E.
Excellent. That's it. Super. Very good. Very well done. That is. I took this exercise from an introduction to language, from your textbook. And notice how we do it. Yes. We name the procedure, the phenomenon is called consonant substitution, is called vowel substitution, is shortening, etc. Yes. And then we specify which sounds were changed or what the shortening is. Okay, that's how you do the exercise. Very good. Today we're going to talk a little bit more about verbs, and notice what it says here. This is very important. This thingy, okay. It says a verb is a word that describes an action or a state of being. So two things, not only action, because whenever I ask for the definition of verb, people tend to say it's an action, but not always an action. For example, I am is in the sentence, I am is the verb and is not an action, it's a state. I think, I'm not sure if think is an action, but it's a state, I would say. So the word verb is from the Latin verbum. So etymology of the word verb, it comes from Latin. Which is the Latin word? Verbum. This is the Latin word. What does it mean? It means word. Okay. And short, one may suppose for action. But it means short. Definitely it means short. Sorry, word. Very good. Verbs have many subcategories in all languages. A transitive verb normally requires an object, noun, phrase. For example, hit the ball. What did you hit? The ball. Or vacate the house. What did you vacate? The house. That's a direct object. A transitive verb. An intransitive verb, arrive, for example, does not allow an object, noun, phrase. And then there is another type of verb, a copular verb, such as be, seem, or appear, links the subject to some other noun phrase or to a modifier. Is that it regarding verbs? No, there are also auxiliary verbs, such as have or be, or has gone, or is leaving, which express some special aspect to an event. We're going to cover aspects, so don't worry about it. And there are modal verbs, such as must, may, or can. So let me make a list like this. Transitive, intransitive, copular, which are called linking as well, auxiliary, modal, although the difference between auxiliary and modal is so difficult. And then we have impersonal verbs. Okay, impersonal verbs. Expresses an event not involving willful performance by an individual person. For example, it's raining. Raining is not an action done by a person. So just another thing, just as nouns are the heads of noun phrases, well, we will cover this in syntax, so don't worry about this either. Okay, that's what you need to know about verbs. Etymology of the word verb, from Latin, meaning word, short for action word, and then types of verbs, transitive, intransitive, copular, auxiliary, modal, impersonal. That's it. So as you can see, defining what a verb is super difficult. Like, linguists do not agree on exactly how a verb can be defined. But verbs have traditionally been defined as action words or doing words. But that's an incomplete task, because I have said that verbs are not only actions but also states. The verb in the following sentence is rides. Paul rides a motorbike. Here, the verb ride certainly denotes an action, which Paul performs, the action of riding. However, there are many verbs which do not denote an action at all. For example, Paul seems unhappy. Seems is not an action, it's a state. So, and it's also a verb. Okay. All right. So when we say action words, verbs are action words, the definition is incomplete. Okay. So we need to explain better what verbs are. So in order to do that, in order to define better what verbs are, we need to segment the verbs into pieces. And we have, for example, the base form. All right. What is the base form? You always have this in British textbooks, like Headway, for example, when you teach English. The base form. Here are examples of verbs in sentences. She travels to work by train. David sings in the choir. We walk 5 miles to a garage. I cooked a meal for the family. Notice that in number 1, she travels, and in number 2, David sings. The verbs have an S ending. While in number 3, we walked, and number 4, I cooked, they have an ed in ending. These endings, as we studied in first year, are known as inflections. Okay, inflections. And they are added to the base form of the verb. The root, the base form, the root of the verb. In number 1, for instance, the S inflection is added to the base form travels. So we can have certain characteristics of base form. Okay, they have suffixes, and we studied suffixes before, like ate, like if I, like eyes, like this. Okay, so suffixes are added to roots. Suffixes are added to base forms. So it's just terminology. Then we have present and past forms. Past and present forms. Okay. Here we have the base form, travel, sing, walk, and cook, and we have the inflection. These two form show present tense, and the last two past tense. And that's it. So in English, Unlike Spanish, and if you have seen the video that I posted before, Spanish has so many regularities. English is like paradise if you compare English to Spanish grammar. So these inflections indicate tense, yes, present tense, past tense. Okay. Verb endings also indicate person, but not like Spanish, because in Spanish we have one ending for each person. In English, we have only third person singular. The rest is all the same. Okay. Very good. So that's regarding English. It's super easy, let's say. Now, English also talks about agreement or concord. Agreement applies only to verbs in the present tense in English. There should be an agreement between the pronoun he, she, and it, and the verb in third person singular form. That's it. That's agreement. And it only occurs in present. So super easy in English, unlike Spanish. Here in the exercise, I would like you to find the verbs. It's just finding the verb. And then we're going to talk about the infinitive form. Okay. The infinitive form of a verb is the form which follows to. For example, you say to ask, to believe, to cry, to go, to protect, etc. But there are other infinitives which do not have to. Okay. For example, down there, he helped me to open the gate. He helped me open the gate. So open does not have the word to before. We call these kind of verbs bare infinitive. Are they different, the to infinitive and the bare infinitive? Yes, they represent a change in meaning. For example, help me to open the gate is a request, while help me open the gate is more a command. Help me open the gate. Yeah, it's more like in an imperative sentence. So there are differences between to infinitive and bare form. So look at this. There are certain verbs that require the to infinitive form, and there are other verbs that require the bare infinitive form. You need to choose between the to infinitive or the bare infinitive according to the context. That's why you're given context. Number one says, I got Jim to drive a car before the age of 18, and you have hoped or thought. Which one? You need to use thought, because you don't normally say, I taught to Jim, as we do in Spanish. In Spanish, we say, yo enseñé a, but in English, you say, I teach someone. You don't say, I teach to someone. But with the word hope, you need the to thing. I hoped to drive a car. You cannot say, I hoped drive. Okay. In Spanish, we need the preposition de. We need to, we say, yo tengo la esperanza de. Tener la esperanza de is in Spanish. In English, to hope. To hope to do something. Okay. In this case, to hope to drive a car. So you have all this to enjoy and choose. Does it need a to, or is it a bare infinitive form? Okay. Okay, last thing that I will teach you today. And
Mr. Christopher, can you explain again the bare?
Yes, the
It is not
bare,
clear for me.
the bare infinitive form.
An example, for example, to infinitive is like I'm asking you, but the bare is like you have to do it, or what?
Only in this example. Only in the example that we have here is what you are saying. But in other examples, what you need to know is that if you use to, and if you don't use to, there is a change in meaning. That's what you need to know. Okay, the meaning changes. Sometimes the meaning does not change. Sometimes you need to use it because of syntax. You cannot say I hope drive a car. You need to say I hope to. You
Yes.
cannot say I thought to. You need to say I thought, Jim. Only that. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. So last thing that I need to teach. Finite and non-finite verbs. The pronunciation is finite, it's not finite. Finite and non-finite verbs. Okay. Notice that what the definition says. Verbs which have the past or the present form are called finite verbs. Verbs in any other form, infinitive, ing, or past participle, are called non-finite verbs. This means that verbs with tense are finite and verbs without tense are non-finite. The distinction between finite and non-finite verbs is a very important one in grammar since it affects how verbs behave in sentence. Okay, so let's check all together. Again, a finite verb is a verb that is in present and past form. A non-finite verb is a verb that is not present or past. Let's check. David plays the piano. Plays is in present tense, so it's finite. My sister spoke French on holiday. Spoke is in past tense, so it's finite. It took courage to continue after the accident. To continue is an infinitive form. It's the base form with to, a to infinitive form. So it's a non-finite verb. Leaving home can be very traumatic. Leaving is the ing form. It's not present or past. We go into the non-finite verbs. Okay. Is there any other? Yes, one more. Leave immediately when you are asked to do so. Asked. You are asked. This is passive voice. This is the past participle form of the verb. It's not past simple. It's the past participle form. So it's a non-finite verb. So you have an exercise to do here, and I would like you to do and to check later, like next week or something, or during the week through WhatsApp if you want, no problem. But I need you to understand the difference between finite and non-finite verbs. And that will be it for today, okay? Regarding verbs. Verbs usually take longer classes, like I cannot talk about verbs in one class because it's too broad, too wide, too much information, okay? So that's it then. Do you have any questions?
Mr.
Yes.
Can you provide us the answer key from the last exercise, the last
All right.
latest exercise?
Okay, I will. I
Because
on the platform I scheduled a quiz on Unit 3. Do you
yes,
know when? Is it for next week already?
yes, it
Yes.
says 5th of November.
Okay, so it says Unit 3, but Unit 3 is super long. I would say, let me write it here in the chat. I would say it should cover nouns, adjectives, numerals, and pronouns. These, so 4 lexical categories there: nouns, adjectives, numerals, and pronouns. 4 of them. Only that, not everything, because it's too much.
Okay.
Do we have an agreement?
So it's
Okay,
Yes.
noun.
Mr. Christopher.
So
Noun,
quiz
adjective.
next week with nouns, adjectives, numerals, and pronouns.
Okay, teacher.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Christopher.
All right, super. Goodbye then.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you.
All
Goodbye. Thank
right,
you.
bye
Bye,
bye.
mister.
See you.
Bye.
See you. I need